It's been an incredible season for the Diamond Heels. Johnny Castagnozzi joins us to figure out just what's the special sauce that's led to that success.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, it's Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shade, and you're joining us at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. Thanks for making us your first listen or watch, and a special shout out to all of you everydayers out there, as well as all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. This is a bonus episode. We've got our regular full Thursday episode with myself and Coach Rob. Make sure you check that out as well. But in the meantime, today we're joined by Tar Heel baseball player senior Johnny Castagnozzi. Big thanks to Ball Players Balm for bringing this interview together. Ball Players Balm, made by ball players for ball players. Much more information about them coming up later on the show. So speaking of coming up on the show, here's where we're going in our conversation with Johnny. It has been an absolutely special year for the Tar Heels. What is making that go? The Tar Heels have a cap to their regular season this weekend, literally starting hours after Johnny and I record at Duke. And so a great chance to wrap things up there in Durham, and then much more ahead, hopefully in the postseason for the Tar Heels, as well as just want to chat more with Johnny about Ball Players Balm and some about Coach Forbes' growth and all of that. So let's get right into it. Here's my conversation with Johnny Castagnozzi. It's a great honor to be joined today on Locked On Tar Heels by Carolina senior recent graduate. Congratulations, sir, Johnny Castagnozzi. And Johnny, what a fun and special year this has been for the Tar Heels. I was just earlier looking back one time at just the progression that the Tar Heels have had through your 4 years at Carolina, going from 2021, where you guys lost in the Lubbock Regional, there's the 3 seed, and then 22, man, that great run, that Arkansas team was so hot, came into Chapel Hill, swept you guys in the Super Regional last year, getting back a little bit. But man, this year, here's where we stand as of today, folks. 39-11 overall, the Tar Heels are 20-7 in ACC play. 32-2 at the Bosch. That's ridiculous. Last weekend clinched the Coastal with that sweep over Louisville. And Johnny, I want to start by asking about the Bosch. What is it about this home field advantage that's been so good this year?
Yeah, it is pretty bizarre to think that we only lost 2 games the whole season at home. And I think that we could have won those 2 games and been on the whole season. But I don't know. I think it's just being comfortable at home, playing a lot of scrimmage games there, preparing well on the field, getting used to the surface if you're a new guy. I just being there a lot has helped us, I think, feel more confident when another team rolls down those stairs there on first base dugout side. So,
yeah, man, that's really good. And as we sit here today, which, by the way, we are recording on Thursday around lunchtime, the Tar Heels getting ready to head over to Durham just in a couple hours to kick off the series at Duke. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. But Johnny, this week in all 5 of the major rankings, the Tar Heels are in the top 7, 4th at Baseball America, 5th at the NCBWA and USA Today, 6th at Perfect Game, and 7th at D1. What does it mean to you for the entire nation and all the rankings to have such high respect and regard for your team?
Yeah. It is really nice to see. Stuff we talk about a lot is kind of just not getting caught up in that, which, is a good and a bad thing at times. We kind of feel like we were underrated for a while.
Yeah.
And honestly, I still feel like we are. We should be in that top 5, top 3 even. However, you don't get caught up in that. It's kind of about how we play, I feel like, opposed to what other people think about us. Always having that chip on your shoulder, going into this weekend series. Duke's been ranked above us pretty much the whole season. So we have something to prove, this weekend. And kind of the same thing, we went into Wake Forest. They were, the team to beat in the ACC. And now we showed them what we did there. So hopefully we can, continue that this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. And Demon Deacons have been playing really well recently. Curious to see how they fare in the ACC tournament. And Johnny, I mean, let me just ask you about that. You said you feel like you've been underrated all season. Quite frankly, from the outside looking in, I'm right there with you, man. This team is electric. They've been doing it. And let's be honest, the ACC as a whole, along with the SEC, are the two dominant conferences as they usually are. Yeah. And yet, here you guys sit at the top of the heap of this loaded conference. Why do you think that the Tar Heels don't have the national recognition that I'll go ahead and say you deserve?
Yeah. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's because, UNC as a whole always wins, and, kind of like the Patriots, they're always winning. A lot of people don't like them, but no, I mean, we just got to keep proving what we've done pretty much all year and continue to do it. It's a great group of guys, 1 through 9. We got a great lineup, even guys on the bench, and then we got, great pitching staff to go along with that. So, we just got to keep playing one day at a time, and then playing one game at a time, as well.
And you just mentioned that. And look, Johnny, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I grew up in Atlanta. I'm a big Braves fan, and I look at the Braves lineup, and I'm like, as a pitcher, I would hate to face that lineup. There are just no breaks, no moments off where you can say, all right, I can attack this guy here. And as I look at this Tar Heels lineup, and as you said, both typically in the starting lineup and even guys coming up off the bench, there are no breaks in this thing. What does that, in your opinion, do to a pitcher's psyche?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I'm sure I'm not. I don't pitch, but I'm sure it's hard to pitch to the lineup. So we just got so much. A combination of a power and speed. Aspect in our lineup, and then executing. If we need to get a bunt down, and playing fundamental baseball. So I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, even when we did the scrimmages, against each other, the hitters would do really well, and that's just a testament to how hard we work in the cages and with our hitting coach and stuff like that. So it's definitely a great lineup, and I think could be the best lineup in college baseball. So again, we got to continue to prove that, obviously, as we go into the playoffs. But it's a stacked lineup, 1 through 9, even guys on the bench coming off. Some guys that played at other schools and done really well haven't got much playing time here. However, they can be in there just like that in a big spot, to win the game. So just a great overall lineup and, staff.
And to your point about speed and power, this was in the Carolina notes for this weekend series. The Tar Heels are the only NCAA D1 power conference team with more than 90 home runs and 70 stolen bases this season. 96 homers, 78 swiped bases right now. And obviously, when you look at that, I mean, there's a guy, you think about what Vance Honeycutt brings. You think about what D'Onofrio's doing with that. And, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Johnny, when talking about I've been trying to pinpoint a lot of this season for you guys. What really is this special sauce? And we'll stay on kind of more that offensive side. And then I want to ask you about the defense here in a minute. But
yeah,
I mean, you often don't see it. We talked about the Braves, and we saw what Ronald Acuna did last year, the MVP. And I mean, it's kind of setting that standard of 40-70 club for the first time. That's what you guys are doing at the college baseball level this year. And how, like, not only the pressure we talk about facing the lineup, but then when you get that happening on the base paths as well, what kind of defense does that, or pressure does that put on the defense?
Yeah, I mean, you said Vance and D'Onofrio. When you got the best player in the country in Vance, who can hit 25 home runs and steal 35 bases, it's a single or a walk turns into a double and sometimes a triple. But the special sauce, I kind of think, is just everyone not accepting anything but our best, in our preparation, and really just gelling together as one, a unified group, because when everyone's pulling in the right direction, that's like a really special thing. And I think the one biggest thing from an offensive standpoint is relying on the guy, in front of you to give you some advice on what he saw from the pitcher, or if you don't get it done, the guy behind you coming up and getting that job done for you. So it's not really feeling like you necessarily need to do it all. I feel like 1 through 9, and even on the bench, like we said, guys can come in there and get the job done. So, kind of relying on each other and really focusing on, what we need to do our job to, succeed and get the end result.
You talked about Vance Honeycutt. How much different is it this year having him fully healthy after, just struggling with injuries last year?
Yeah, it's a game changer. Like I said, he's the best of the best, and I think he's the best in the country. He's the best center fielder I've ever seen, and he's just a freakishly good athlete, and also not just the talent wise. He's a really good guy and a really good friend. Who I really respect and look up to, even though he's younger than me. So, having him in center field and kind of man in the outfield, and it's top of the lineup is really special thing.
Let's switch to defense, Johnny, and specifically pitching. One of the things that's been really, really impressive to me for you guys this year is, Jake Knapp has his injury, projected obviously to be probably, dominant weekend starter. Folger Boaz goes down kind of mid-season. That's two of your weekend starters, yeah. Johnny Castagnozzi. How does a young but talented pitching staff overcome losing two guys of that caliber?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we lost Knapp, he was going to be one of our weekend guys. Obviously, that was a tough blow for us. But we knew guys needed to step up, and guys would need to step up, even if we did have Knapp. And losing Folger was two probably. Knapp would probably be our Friday guy, and Folger was our Friday guy. Guys like Jason DeCaro stepping up. He was 17 up until a couple of weeks ago, and for him to be able to be in that Friday night spot really has helped us. Shea Sprague. Everyone that really has pitched on the weekend, Aiden, a bunch of guys. So we knew coming in that there was a young staff kind of, with a lot of talented young arms. And we knew that those guys needed to, step up to help us win this year. And I think they've done a good job of that so far. And more obviously to come. So we'll see how that plays out.
Much more to come. Hopefully several more weeks of baseball to look ahead. But we don't want to get too far down the tracks yet because there's an all-important weekend series at Duke starting later on today as Johnny and I talk. We'll set up that series, talk about what the Tar Heels need to do this weekend to wrap up the regular season on a good note. We'll get to that in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel. It's winner-take-all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. You can go ahead and look at the national championship odds for next season in college basketball. The Tar Heels are in that kind of 5th or 6th spot, but you know what they're bringing back? You might want to take them right now. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get in on that action and make every playoff shot count. Visit FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Carolina heads this weekend to Durham, not too far away. You get to sleep in your own bed. It's pretty nice to take on Duke to wrap up the regular season. Here's the schedule tonight, Thursday, 7 p.m. on ACC Network. Tomorrow, Friday, 6 p.m. on ACC Network Extra. And Saturday, 1 p.m. to wrap up the regular season on ACC Network Extra as well. Johnny, coming into this thing, it's funny because, as you said, a lot of the season, Duke has been ranked ahead of the Tar Heels. Duke's on a little bit of a skid. Tar Heels come in on a 6-game winning streak. Flipped where the Tar Heels are ranked higher. But let's be honest. When you look at the numbers, the ranking numbers beside both these teams, it feels like it's a basketball matchup between the Tar Heels and Blue Devils because at D1, Carolina is 7th, Duke 11. I mean, I feel like I'm waiting on Coach K and Roy Williams to run out, but no. We are on the diamond. I love having both of these teams so highly ranked. It's how it should be. Johnny Castagnozzi, as you head over to Duke today, what do you got to do to take the Blue Devils cookies this weekend?
Yeah, two very good, talented teams, I would say. I haven't seen much about Duke, but obviously they have a good team this year. It's really all about how we play, what we do. Like I said before, kind of our preparation and stuff like that. We feel prepared. We feel ready to go. We try not to dive into how the other team, what's so great about the other team. Yeah, if they bunt a lot or, something like that, we're going to prepare for that.
Sure.
But, it's kind of about how we play, like I said. So if we stick to our game, but continue to do what we do, we'll get the result we want at the end of the day.
You talked about DeCaro and, being so young and everything he's got. You go into an arch rival you think it's the kind of thing where you almost don't want to talk to him too much? It's like, you don't know what you don't know. You're too young. Just go out and throw it. Like, how do you guys prepare him for taking the bump tonight?
Yeah, I kind of feel like Jason has, he just has that like it factor in him at such a young age, which is so special. But I know guys, our leaders like, the pitching staff, Jake Knapp, Connor Bover, Ben Peterson, those guys really have, helped him in knowing what to expect. But again, he's just so talented and he's got such a great mindset. You can throw him in any type of game 3 of a super regional to go to Omaha. I feel like he'd be ready to go for that. So.
Hey, and, hopefully that would be a scenario we actually get to legitimately talk about in the not too distant future. So Johnny, love it. You guys last week, you host Louisville at home, sweep them, wrap up the Coastal. What a big deal was that to get to do that at home before you even head to Duke this weekend?
Yeah, it was a huge deal, especially, the senior day being on Sunday, getting that nice sweep for, I'm not saying because I'm a senior, but for the senior, that was great. It just continues to show what credit to our team and how talented we are and how much our hard work is paying off. To set us up for this series was a great thing. Obviously, the midweek game got canceled because the weather. But, we're feeling good right now. We're excited to go out and compete, tonight and the rest of this weekend.
And, I mean, thinking ahead to the weekend, because of what you guys have already done in ACC, you're in a position now where all you need to do is win one game, or Clemson lose one game, and you guys are the number 1 overall seed in next week's ACC tournament. Obviously, with the pods and the way that shapes up, it's a little bit different, but it does give you a big advantage getting to face teams that haven't been as strong in the ACC this year as, say if you drop down to 2 and Clemson's the 1 seed. How much do you allow yourself to think about that, and how much do you just say, like, we just got to go out and keep doing what we're doing?
Yeah, I think it's more of continue to go out and keep doing what we're doing. Obviously, you get caught up in that stuff. It's not a great thing, but, it's right in front of you sometimes. You're going to look at the rankings and the standings and all that. But again, we're trying to go out there and execute, everything that we need to do. So if you're doing your job, in the first inning opposed to the 9th inning, it shouldn't be any different, in the score of the game, stuff like that. Focusing on staying with the process and staying with the routine. So that helps us, take it game by game, opposed to looking, further down the road, if we lose the first one and we need to win this one. No, it's like, we're going to get up the best we can to be prepared and go out and execute that day.
And Johnny, as we look ahead, the ACC tournament, the ACC Championship will be next week. If history tells us anything, Carolina has won every other ACC tournament championship going back the last couple of years. You guys won obviously in 22, your sophomore year, and there wasn't one in 20, but you guys won in 19. So, I mean, history tells us that it's the Tar Heels' turn to win this year. So, just roll out and you're ready. No, obviously there's going to be a lot ahead. Without getting ahead of yourself, what will be your mindset and the mindset of the team getting into next week?
Yeah. So obviously that's the beginning of our postseason. So it's a different type of vibe almost. However, it doesn't take away from what we've done all year, continuing to harp on like I said, the preparation and our routines and, our practices, all that type of stuff. It's obviously going to be different because it's the playoffs now. It's not necessarily win or go home, but it's a different game or a different type of vibe than just a normal regular season game. But again, we have to continue to harp on the things that, got us to where we are right now.
Yeah. And then even broadcasting a little bit ahead of then, because that's what we do, for those who are more the basketball-minded viewers of our show, here's how things work in the NCAA tournament for baseball. You have these regional sites with 4 teams. Carolina is in place to do that, almost probably regardless of what happens this weekend or next week, just because of the great job they've already done. But the Tar Heels, if the season ended today, would probably be one of those top 8 seeds as not only a regional host, but a super regional host should they get on past that. Johnny, obviously you got to do that your sophomore year as you guys advanced to host Arkansas. Since Arkansas had upset, it's escaping me now. Who did they beat? Oklahoma State, was it?
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to say Oregon State because that's like the Tar Heel thing. But yes. And so, you have experienced that before. And I know there's got to be a bitter taste left in your mouth from getting swept by the Razorbacks there. And so just looking ahead, like, hey, we've got a chance for the first time in my Tar Heel career to not only advance far, but be a top 8 national seed. What would that mean to you, Johnny?
Yeah, it would be huge. Playing at the Bosch and the regional and the super regional was just such a special thing. It was just, everyone comes together, to watch us play. And it was really just a special thing. When we found out that we were playing at home, a bunch of us were together watching that, the end of that Oklahoma State-Arkansas game. It was just such a great feeling after knowing we won the regional. Just a completely different type of feeling than going on the road my freshman year to Lubbock to play in that regional. And then playing in Chapel Hill is like, night and day. But it's just such a great, special thing that, hopefully, if everything works out, we'll be at home for both series.
Well, hopefully the Tar Heels will continue on all their winning ways, but again, we can't look too far ahead. Got to take care of Duke tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, and then we'll look ahead to that ACC tournament. So, Johnny, just kind of want to big picture things here in a minute. You and Coach Scott Forbes kind of came in together, at least in terms of him taking the reins as head coach. Want to talk about his growth, what's next for you after graduation, and we want to talk more about Ball Players Balm. We'll talk about all that coming up in just a second. We're joined today on Locked on Tar Heels by Johnny Castagnozzi. We are just hours away from first pitch of the Carolina Duke series, wrapping up the regular season. And Johnny, you came in the 2020-21 academic year, 2021 being your freshman year there at Carolina, which incidentally coincided with Coach Forbes taking over the reins as head coach of the baseball program. And man, it's just been super neat to see him, A, get this opportunity, and then B, just to watch the program continue to operate at a high level and really, really taken off this year. Johnny, in your time there in Chapel Hill, how have you seen Coach Forbes really go from the role he was in before, which I know you didn't get to witness that up close and personal, but really grow into the head coach of this team?
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously we were all kind of stunned. We didn't know that Coach Fox was going to retire. That was my first team meeting here. So thrown right into the fire. But Coach Forbes has done a good job preparing us, like I've been talking about preparation for what's to come. And obviously, I think he might have kind of got thrown into the fire as well. Right when COVID just happened, the whole world was kind of really upside down. So, he's really done a great job over the last 4 years of preparing us for every game and every different type of situation. Obviously, he's been in so many different games. I mean, he's over 20 something years of coaching. He's seen it all. So, and it's a credit to him to be able to prepare us for any type of situation. And personally, that's how I felt, really ready to take on any task that lies ahead. And I think that's, what this team, a bunch of young arms has really developed into, expecting anything when the game starts. So,
yeah. Johnny, you just talked about COVID there some, and man, yes, coming out, I can't imagine being the head coach for the first time right out of that COVID era. And for you, you just graduated college. Congratulations. But I got to imagine that your high school graduation got all sorts of flipped upside down because of COVID. What does it mean to get to have a little more of a normal graduation this time around and knowing what you've been able to achieve these last 4 years?
Yeah, it is a really great thing to be able to have that graduation. In high school, we kind of had a graduation down at the beach parking lot, and there's like, we all had to sit in the car and listen to it on the radio. So no, it was really nice. I went down to the Kenan Stadium for the graduation, and it's really like, looking back on 4 years, it goes by so fast. The days are long, but the years are short, and it's kind of like a really special thing to just look at, how far I've come personally and what I've learned and matured over the last 4 years here. So it was a really special weekend. My parents were down here, my sister and my soon-to-be brother-in-law. So it was all great stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I think the natural place our brains all turn after that then is what's next for Johnny Castagnozzi.
Yeah. So obviously I don't have a fifth year, unfortunately, but I'm looking to hopefully continue playing at the professional level. We'll see how that works out. However, I'm just focused on, finishing this season strong and getting to Omaha and being the first ones to win that national championship here.
And man, so many teams that came so close. We think back in the, 06-ish range, just that whole run, man, was so special. And it'd be nice to build on what all those groups started. Johnny, thinking of all that kind of Carolina baseball history, I know there was something sad that has happened recently within the Carolina baseball family. You guys are wearing a patch with JR on it in memory of JR Anton, who recently passed away. And just wanted to ask you about what he meant to this program and you personally.
Yeah, that was such a terrible thing that I found. Coach Forbes called me up, and it just hit me, and it hit a bunch of the players. Because he was down here not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and he actually stayed. We have a kind of a duplex place here. He stayed right next door with us. So yeah, and I talk to him all the time. He called me, big bro, and I'm sure he's called that with a bunch of other players here. But he just meant so much to us. He gave us so much perspective, and he really, we feel him with us now as we, continue to play this season. It's just like I said, it was a terrible thing to hear, and I'm just grateful that I was able to, be in his life, and he really has impacted my life and a ton of other players that have come through the program here.
Johnny, thanks for sharing all that. I know it's not easy to talk about people that we lose in our lives, but I love how you guys are carrying on his memory and bringing him along with you. And it's so special, and I hope that continues to help spur you guys on playing for JR there. Now, there's no easy way to transition into talking about a live topic, so we're just going to make the hard right turn and do that. We've talked about that Ball Players Balm is what has brought together our conversation today, and so we want to thank them again for doing that. Ball Players Balm is made by ball players for ball players, and that's not just some slogan. It's literally made by former ball players, and in fact is owned by a former Tar Heel, so we love that. Johnny, what I love about this is Ball Players Balm has like glove conditioners, has bat tack like made with pine tar stuff, and you, my friend, have your own unique Johnny Castagnozzi scent. I love this, and I think it's rad. Tell us about your scent.
Yeah, so it's a cookies and cream flavored scent. When I was approached with this opportunity, I was like, this is phenomenal, so I didn't know exactly what scent to pick at first. But it really is, it's awesome. Like you can smell it from a couple feet away, put it on the bat. It doesn't make your bat just smell like that old, normal pine tar scent. It's a good smelling thing. Now we got a bunch of guys on the team using it. So when you go over by the bat rack, you smell cookies and cream. So in my opinion, that's a great scent before you get up to the box in a big spot. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I really enjoy it. I'm really happy that I have my own signature scent, and a lot of the other players on the team have enjoyed it as well.
We talked about the special sauce earlier. Maybe that's it. Is like cookies and cream for the win. I love like, I'm curious if do you ever get like an opposing, you step into the box. Does an opposing catcher ever smell it and ask you like, bro, are you eating ice cream? Like what's happening here?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? They might be smelling that, but that'd be pretty cool if they did say that. But yeah, go get your own stick. So,
man, how did you land on cookies and cream? I know you said you kind of struggled. Is that like, do you like cookies and cream ice cream, or how did you eventually land on that?
Yeah, I kind of really like Oreos. It's not for athlete, but last year my roommates would always mess with me that I'm just sitting down there, not every night, because it's not good to eat Oreos every night. However, I would always go to the store and get a sleeve of Oreos and do that. It's kind of something I always had growing up. Cookies and cream or Oreo pancakes, my favorite. So
ooh.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
I'm okay. I will have to try that very soon. Never thought of Oreo pancakes. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Johnny, legitimately, I know the scent of it's fun, but at a very practical level, right? Like I as a baseball player growing up, felt like I always struggled to find a good grip or find the right batting gloves. How does this bat tack legit help you like with your grip, or what does it do for you at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, really, like same thing with me. If I don't have a good grip in my bat, I kind of feel like a little less confident up there. So it gives you a good grip, and it kind of relieves some tension a little bit when you have a good grip at the bat. And, it's not, if you apply it a little too much, it's not going to, you're not going to be able to hold on the bat and not let go of it. So it was really good, good balance between stick and also great smelling, and then, not too much stick at the same time.
Man, that's exactly what you're looking for. You don't want to be trying to run down to first base like, I can't throw my bat away. That's incredible. Well, thanks for sharing all that, man. Folks, if you're interested in checking it out, ballplayersbalm.com. Go find some Johnny Castagnozzi cookies and cream, but plenty of great products over there at Ball Players Balm. Johnny Castagnozzi, great luck this weekend. We definitely need to check in again if your schedule allows as we go through the postseason, keeping tabs on the Diamond Heels. Best of luck, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Big thanks to Johnny for joining me on today's show. Really hope you enjoyed the interview with him. Again, big thanks to Ball Players Balm for bringing this interview together. Make sure you check out the Tar Heels this weekend and throughout the postseason in the ACC Tournament, in the regional rounds, and hopefully beyond to the Super Regionals and Omaha. We will be cheering on Johnny and his teammates. Don't forget, also, we have a full show today as well. Typical Thursday show. We're looking at Ugonna Onyenso, the Kentucky transfer who is one of Carolina's targets. So we're talking a lot about that. If you haven't subscribed to the show on audio and video, super easy to do anywhere you listen to podcasts or watch on YouTube. If you're not part of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community, we would love to have you there as well. The link is in the show notes. It's free to join. Come on in. The water's fine. Want to remind you that it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll be back with you tomorrow on Friday. But until then, peace.